Yeah, we got a change in the state here on the 3 minute. 15 minute still kind of neutral, right? 1 minute's trading back down into those fair value gap voids. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we see some bullish price action here. Let's take a long.
Order submitted.
All right, I'm long in this area right here. Now I want to see this hold as a SMT, so I'll go ahead and mitigate my loss already here. Mitigate the risk. Extra confirmation would be above this candle and also above this 5 minute fair value gap where we can scale in and look to target these highs, right? So lower time frames already showing that we are bullish. 5 minute, not quite. 15 minute, not quite. But kind of getting in early on this trade. Yes, pretty strong here. Target this high up here maybe. So let's see here how this trade plays out. Getting in a little bit early for confirmation, before confirmation, because I want to scale in, right? I want to get a nice early entry here with my loss mitigated. And then I want to see price trade above here and possibly scale in and trail my stops up, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, I need to end the stream now so we can just have a huge leg to the upside and secure some profits, just like yesterday. Oh man, that was funny. And then price just rips right back up. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Yesterday's price action was just I don't know. It didn't feel normal at all. I feel like on a normal day we should have at least took those lows, right? On a normal day, I feel like this low would have got ran. But yeah, it was just a giant power of three, right? Huge manipulation and then distribution the rest of the day. So we completely not misread that, but got caught offside there, right? We should have known if this was accumulating like this, that we should have took profit at one of these levels, right? And then final target of like one of these levels, just because this was accumulating and we knew if we were going to break out of that range, it could have been manipulation. So it just would have been safe to take profit at one of those levels. And I think some of you guys did, actually. I think some of you guys did. So that's good. So yeah, like I said, we got the 3 minute change in state here. This is basically a model right here, an entry model. Need price to trade through this fair value gap though. Yeah, yesterday it was so close to take profit, man. It was I was excited too. I just like was trying to make some food and then I saw that dump and then like price just trickled back up in the next 10 minutes. I was like, "What is this?" Oh man. Yeah, Rich, yesterday seemed like a good day for you, man. I was completely offside with price action. I was trying to short all day. So maybe I learned my lesson today and stopped trying to short. It's just with my strategy, I'm targeting a lot of the time low resistance liquidity and basically in the opposite direction, right, of where price is currently at. So it's kind of the struggle. All right, let's get this closure above the fair value gap. And then we're sitting pretty solid, I would say. This would confirm the manipulation. Also, closure above this 15-minute fair value gap. So, let's see. Not a huge fan of this inside bar candle, right? I think if we break the high of this 9 a.m. candle, I want to move my stop loss to break even if I can, if I'm not scaled in at that point. So this is the high here of the 9 a.m. candle. This would basically confirm that we're distributing higher. And if we trade below there, then we could go for the opposite side of liquidity of 9 a.m. Right? So you could look at this as buy side and sell side right now, because this is an inside bar candle. So if we trade to the buy side, I don't want to see price flip the candle, right? And start going towards the sell side. Yeah, Rich, I like that. I like that theory, right? I like that theory for sure. But we're still early. That's the thing. Still early on in the session, so we'll see. Okay, so we have. I might want to even mitigate my risk more, honestly. Yeah, I still think this is really solid SMT too. And I think a lot of people might be looking for these London lows to be ran, but not sure if that'll happen. This is kind of going against my strategy a little bit, because I typically am targeting this like low resistance liquidity and London low here, but I'm just kind of reading what price action is showing here. Yeah, 1 minute we've inverted a lot, right? We have this basically huge void. That's why I was trying to pay attention to like the 3 minute instead. We trade into like this fair value gap, this invert fair value gap, and we have a change in the state here on the 3 minute. 5 minute, we're just kind of waiting for that to play out, confirm. Yeah, Jonah, I'm always adapting, man. I'm not really trying to be like a pattern trader, obviously. This is like a pattern though, right? Like especially on the 3 minute. This is just your typical, change in the state of delivery, entry here, targeting the highs, right? So in this sense, this is a pretty good model in this sense, right? Because we have SMT and it's sweeping out data low liquidity. Just makes sense, right? In this particular moment, this is where I would see like this pattern playing out, right? But the problem with having entry models and, trading the patterns all the time is when people see this, they just take it right off the bat. And then when it doesn't work out in their favor, they just say, oh, it doesn't work, but like you're not using it in the right context, right? So there's a lot of context here. Yep. Yep. And what I've been adapting to a lot is figuring out what the first move is. What the first move is at 9:30, right? So what is price doing? Are we manipulating? Are we distributing? Are we accumulating? Right? Once you can figure out where you are in that cycle, then you can kind of figure out what the move is going to be, right, for the AM session. Know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard to determine, right? Like it's hard to determine sometimes, like, is this distribution or is this a manipulation, right? And hindsight's always going to be 2020. We're going to be able to say, hey, this was manipulation. If we continue here and we start going higher, right, and distributing, then clearly this is, a manipulation leg. But if we keep trading lower, then it's like, oh, okay, this was a distribution leg actually. So it's definitely tough sometimes to see where you are in the power of three, but so yeah, we've yet to trade up into this fair value gap on the 5 minute. Now we did trade up into this fair value gap on the 15 minute. Right. And if we take that high, obviously I would not want to see it trade back down towards this low. And I swear if we have another consolidating 10 a.m. candle, I'm going to lose it. Might be switching to the PM session, huh? Yeah, price action's been a little crazy lately in the morning, but we'll see if we can get this 10 a.m. to play out, at least 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. into lunch. Got the ICT silver bullet coming in. I live in Central Florida, bro. I live in Central Florida. And it's getting hot here. Yesterday we had a thunderstorm and my power was out for like 2 hours. It's pretty rough. Pretty rough. Oh, Rich, did you go back early? Yeah, Frank, I don't even have yellow and orange folders on my Forex calendar. I just pay attention to the red folders, to be honest. Oh my gosh. Rich, that's crazy, bro. Wow, Sling. Yeah, I did not see that. That's insane, bro. That is like worst case scenario. That's why I always use bracket orders where it has a set stop loss and a set take profit. That's insane, man. Bro, always have. That's why that's insane, dude. Rich, that's also crazy, bro. We got two crazy stories going on right here. Got missiles flying over a hotel and some guy that lost 50,000 for no stop loss. That's wild, man. It's wild. Yeah, that's what I tell people, man. Like, especially if you're living in the States, like, life is not bad. Life is not bad at all because we live in luxury, man, compared to a lot of other countries. And people complain. People complain, but, we do got it really good here. I know Alex and I think Peter are over in Europe, right? Something like that. Alex, you're in Asia. Okay. I don't think you ever mentioned that. You just mentioned you're like way ahead of me in time. Yeah, man. Syria bombings and stuff. It's crazy, bro. The world is crazy right now. Yeah, bro. Which it's funny. My mom is actually she was just working in Guam. She was just working in Guam for a couple months. She was a cardiovascular sonographer. She was teaching people how to do sonography out there. Wow, bro. Sling, that's crazy, man. That is wild. So sad. Yeah, she the only thing is she missed family, man. She missed family, but she was always sending me pictures. She was always sending me pictures of the beach and by the pool and all that stuff after she was done working. Yeah, man. It's tough out there in the world, bro. It's tough. Seeing loved ones get hurt is it's tough. Yeah, you be safe out there for sure, Rich, man. It's crazy. Yeah, trade is playing out nicely here. I want to see this invert. We get this invert here. Get another entry.
Order filled.
Another entry here. and mitigate our stop here. All right, so now we're trailed in on this trade. See if we can just get a run to these highs, these equal highs here. Had a nice inversion on the 15-minute as well. Nice little scale in trade. Now, I don't think I'll scale in on this trade again. I don't think I'll scale in on this again. But once we break through the 9 a.m. high here, I'll probably just move stop to break even and just be chilling. Really hoping this 10 a.m. candle gets some volume though. Get some volume come in on this 10 a.m. candle. That would be nice. But yeah, this looks primed to go higher. This looks really good to go higher. Yeah, Rich, you keep it simple, bro. I like that. That's good, man. You just pay attention to a couple time frames. Just pay attention to the fair value gaps and where price is going. I like it. Got a good strategy, man. You're just reading pure price action. At some point, we are going to probably slam through some of this low resistance liquidity, though. It's just a matter of when, right? And how it's going to do it. Because we've been in this bullish leg for quite some time. Now, did this trade back into a discount here? Yeah, it did trade back into a discount. Okay, so we're just seeing a continuation on the higher time frame, right? Thursday or Friday, maybe run the lows. I mean, we got PPI tomorrow too, man. If PPI tomorrow, we could just see this week just completely distribute, right? Higher. Higher and higher and higher. It would make sense, right? Because people wouldn't be expecting it. So smart money would kind of just be riding the wave. Maybe today and tomorrow just kind of distribute higher, and then Friday closes back in the range a little bit. It's possible. We got some red folder data, consumer sentiment, inflation expectations at 10 on Friday. So I'm not sure how much that's going to move the market, but we'll see. Yeah, I want to see price just trade above this 9 a.m. open. Once price trades above there, then I think we'll be in good shape. Just kind of trickling up though right now. I'd want to see a little bit more force, but maybe that's being a little biased, huh? I just want to see my target get hit right away. Like, right? I hit buy, hit target. That's how Monday's trade felt. Monday's trade felt super smooth, right? It was only basically like 20 minutes. Yeah. Really fast trade. What's funny is a couple years ago when I used to trade on the 1 minute time frame, 20 minutes in a trade, I would have been like, oh my God, that's so long. But now I'll hold trade for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours of drawdown. It's crazy how your trading changes a lot. Yeah, that's true, Alex. If you want to be a full-time trader, that's where a lot of mistakes full-time traders make when they go full-time. They just want to be on the chart all day long and catch every single play. And that's not the point, right? The point is to have more time and more freedom, not trade your 9 to 5 for chart looking all day. Yeah, there's that's the tough part though, especially like when you're at that breakthrough moment and that aha moment in your trading, you always want to be on the chart. Like you always want to look at the chart, you always want to find setups. But, you just stick to one pair and a time session, and then as you get a little bit more experience, maybe start trading another session, yada yada yada. But, I just try to keep it as simple as possible. Yeah, man. Yep, the over trading is real in both directions, man. And I've had trade where I've been down, I've been down almost blowing the account and I came back and ended the day green, right? It goes both ways, but was that good trading? No, absolutely not. But I used to pride myself on that, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm so good where I'm able to pull this account out of drawdown." But, it's not the proper way to trade, right? You're not doing it right. Yep, exactly. Being down $1,000 on your account and then coming back and ending the day in green, you're just practicing bad habits, right? And that's just setting yourself up for failure. That's why I always tell people, you only have a set amount to lose, right? You can only lose, if you got a 50K account, you can only lose $2,500. The profits you can make are endless. The money's always going to be there, but you got to protect your downside risk. Know what I mean? Yeah, so at this point, we traded above this inverse fair value gap, and now excuse me, we traded into it one more time. Oh, I got something in my throat. Yeah, I would say we trade into this fair value gap one more time. I would say now that we're trading above 930, that we're pretty solid to start going higher. I'm contemplating here moving my stop to break even. Because if we trade into this fair value gap again, my thought process is we could completely reverse, right? If we start breaking down below these lows, we'll start trading a little bit lower, right? So I might as well mitigate my risk here. And here we are, we're trading above the accumulation. So I'll go ahead and just move to break even. And now we're just risk-free, right? Nice and risk-free. And another power of three playing out. This is like the third day in a row where we've seen a power of three play out, right? Well, I mean, it hasn't necessarily played out yet, but you know, it's getting there, right? Where we had yesterday, boom, 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 power of three. Day before that, boom, 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 power of three. Let's see. Day before that, this was the open here. We didn't really have a power of three play out on this day. Thursday, same thing. Didn't really have a power of three too much. This was accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Sometimes it's harder to spot, right? But this was essentially a power of three here too. So a lot of power of threes playing out lately, which I like to see, you know, like to see, kind of training my eye a little bit to it a little more as well. What do I think of trailing stop? I don't mind trailing stop. I don't mind trailing stop at all. I'll trail my stop if I'm looking to target like a higher target, right? So like if I had my take profit up here, right? And then we start trading up into this level here, I would just trail my stop up a little bit at a time. But the reason why I don't trail my stop too much is because I'm usually out of the trade before I get an opportunity to trail the stop. In a sense of I'm taking low hanging fruit targets, right? So where I would trail my stop is the low hanging fruit target if I was going for like a TP2 or TP3, if that makes sense. See what I'm saying? Yo, Eric, what's going on, man? I think you just jumped in here. Frank, you got out? Nice, bro. Nice little base hit. Nice little base hit. Yeah, this is a really good trade today. This little pattern that played out. I love the little fork and knife. The response. I know. I get it, bro. I get it. I think it was Jofer. Is it Jofer or Joffer? How do you pronounce your name, bro? Jofer. That's funny. What nationality? What is your background, bro? You said you were from Guam. Yeah, no red candles, Frank. I would say that's pretty clean to go towards these equal highs here. Filipino and Punjabi. Nice. Awesome, bro. It's cool to hear about people's backgrounds. Hofer. Hey, Brian. Glad to have you here, man. Have a good rest of your day. Yeah, man. In and out. All good. Have a good one, bro. I'll correct her the day she quits. Yeah, I think we're gonna hit target here. I would love to see that. Like I said, break even is pretty valid here. If we start breaking through some of these lows, I wouldn't want to wouldn't have any I don't want to have any risk on the table, right? On this trade now that we're this high in profit. think it was possible here to maybe scale in one more contract, but I like the idea. You know, I just took a loss yesterday. I just took a loss in the PM session that I didn't need to take. So I'm just looking for a nice clean trade today where I don't have to have any risk on the table, right? This is risk free for me. So if I scale in one more time, then I'm bringing risk back on the table. I would have to, because my average would now move to like right here, right? And then I couldn't put my stop loss at break even if my average is right here. So I would have to assume some risk, which I don't really want to do when I'm break even right now, if that makes sense. I'm sure that makes sense to you guys, but but yeah, I think this target looks really good. Target looks really good here. Distribution just playing out. It's just a matter of getting there, right? And like I said, if we start trading above this 9 a.m. candle, right? We just created those equal highs. We trade above it. I don't want to see price flip back to a bearish candle. So the break even is relevant, right? If we start trading back down below here, we're at risk of trading back down towards this low, since this 9 a.m. candle was an inside bar candle, right? So that's not what I would want to see. I would just want to see this high get broken and continue trading higher towards the equal highs here. So trading into that fair value gap right there. Like I said, stop loss break even right at the low of this 15-minute candle. I don't want to see this get broken at all, because we are bullish, distributing any lows that get ran, possibility of a reversal, right? So looking like a pretty good slingshot move right here, right? We had this 30-minute break the high. Now we're trading back into the high of that candle, and we trade higher. So I'm kind of curious with you guys, because I'm pretty new to like Discord, like in general. I've never traded with any other Discords. I'm part of some of the Discords, but I've never been in any other lives. So I'm just wondering, like, if you guys have been in any other like traders Discords, like how would you compare like some of the knowledge and like how I'm trading compared to other lives? This is your first Discord, Jonah? I know it's really popular right now. There's you got younger guys doing it a lot. You got like Ryan Dodgy. I'm in his Discord, but I haven't done his trial or anything. Live trades with no interaction. Gotcha. True, true. So we're all Discord live virgins. Got it. You were in Dodgy's when he first started, Frank? That's cool. Yeah, I work with Dodgy's same team that helped me set up everything, like my WAP and my Discord and stuff, because they specialize in that. So they helped me set everything up. But yeah, I haven't been a part of any live Discords before. Yeah, a lot of them can be money grabs, man. A lot of them can be money grabs. That's why I was asking, for the information, for like value providing, I still want to provide more, right? Maybe doing weekend sessions, back testing, things like that. Yeah, Frank, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think being interactive and just kind of, you know, explaining my thought process in a live trade, because that was always my issue with trading. And even when I first started 7 years ago, nobody was live trading, bro. Nobody was live trading at all. I got my dogs barking in the background. Nobody was live trading, so I was always trying to, okay, everybody's calling plays in hindsight, right? Everybody's like, oh, this is how you should trade, this is how you do that, but nobody was doing anything live, and I was like, how is this, helpful? You know what I mean? Because it was completely different. I was trying to use the same strategies and the methods like in my first year of trading. Like one of the first traders I found was Q Banks, right? And I'm sure you guys are aware of him in the forex space. But I watched a couple of his videos and I was like, how, like, this isn't like actually trading. This is just like he was going through the charts and he was just showing like setups that happened, right? And it wasn't like live time. It was just all hindsight. So that's where I really struggled, and I was like, bro, like, I just, if I was going to pay for a mentor or something like that, I would want to see them live trading and making money live, not just saying, hey, I took this setup, and showing me some MT4 like screenshots. Yeah, that is a big thing, Jonah, for sure, bro. Like, it's the same thing with sports. Just because you're a good football player doesn't mean you're a good coach, right? So I think I can explain things really well, right? Sometimes I tend to veer off what I preach, right? So yesterday I was explaining to you guys that it's probably not advisable to trade the PM session, and I traded the PM session, right? you know, we're like humans, we're gonna make mistakes, right? But that's another thing I've just been working on, is try to practice more what I preach, right? Just holding myself more accountable, because obviously this trading game is hard. You're always fighting your emotions and your discipline. It's always a battle with yourself, and it never gets easier. Yeah, I appreciate that, Alex. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. Hopefully, we'll all be chilling on yachts here in the next year or so. With our demo profits from the funded accounts, right? Yeah, boy. No, but seriously, man, there is actually so much money to be made on these prop firms if you're trading them right. The bad thing is, everybody just wants to get rich quick off of them. But yeah, if you just look at it over the course of 6 months to a year, how much you can actually pull out of these prop firms, you know what I mean? So we had a little bit of manipulation right here, right? Where we had this candle take this low, trade into this fair value gap, and now we're trading above the high. Now this could be a good spot to kind of trail your stop, right? Because chances are, if we start breaking through this low, back through this fair value gap, we'd probably hit break even, right? So that's a good, maybe like a mental stop, right? If you wanted to do that. So like I said, trade management kind of a skill in itself, but you're just kind of being logical about what price action is doing. And Frank already got out here basically at the 9 a.m. high. Yeah, so we got this 15-minute candle closing. Now we are forming this fair value gap here. So this would kind of need to be a breakaway gap, right? This one. So we're in a pretty slow distribution phase here, right? Just kind of slowly taking our time. Getting up there. Yeah, definitely a lot better PA. Definitely a lot better. I mean, makes sense, right? All the volume coming in during CPI and after CPI instead of the day before. I know a lot of people that didn't trade yesterday. It's like the day before NFP too. Not a lot of people are trading because price action is a little gross, right? So I'll have my stop right here. I'll trail my stop right below the fair value gap, right? Because we could still trade into that fair value gap on the 15-minute. We got 2 minutes on this candle still. So we could see it create a fair value gap and maybe trade into it and then trade higher. But we'll see. We're breaking this candle's low right here. Let's see if we can trade back above the high, because this was a small range consolidation candle right here, this red candle. And we're trading back into this accumulation. So maybe I got to end the stream so we just boom to take profit real quick. Yeah, we got some accumulation forming on the 1 minute here. I don't want to see a manipulation back down. I just kind of want to see when price is distributing like this. I just want to see it accumulate and then just keep going, right? I don't care to see a power of 3 here, right? Obviously, because it would stop me out, but at least we're in profit, you know what I mean? It almost hit your stop. Yeah, bro. Now if I added another position, my entry would be here, and then my stop loss would be basically break even. That is a possibility. That is a possibility to enter again. Because this is only like $50 profit. Yeah, let's scale in
Order filled.
one more contract. So now I have 3 contracts on, right? And I'm still break even. Right, so I just added more positions without assuming any risk because I was so heavy in profit. Right, stops below this low now. I'm looking for this 15-minute to not trade back into this fair value gap. Five micros. That's on your eval, right? I think they cap you at 2 on your Express account. So that's something you need to note. When you go trading live with them, you can only trade 2 contracts max, I believe. I'm pretty sure they keep that as a rule. Alex, I mean, it sucks, right? Like, I mean, it's not fun. You know, that's what happened yesterday. Essentially, I took a $50 loss when I was already up 1R. You know what I mean? I took a little bit of a loss. Now, luckily, it wasn't a full loss. If I kept my stop loss in the same spot the whole time, it would have been a full loss. But the way I mitigate my loss, you know, it doesn't feel awful. It doesn't, but you know, it's just kind of indifferent, right? Because I know that's part of trading. Now, I would have been upset at myself if I didn't mitigate my loss though, and I took a full loss on that trade, but I didn't. You know, it was just a small loss. So I'm not stressing it, right? Now, what I did get upset about myself yesterday was not following my rules and trading the PM session. Right? Trading the PM session was what really burned me yesterday because that was a full loss. And I didn't mitigate my risk on that, right? It was kind of like a YOLO trade, and obviously you get burned on it. Yeah, Sling, I believe unless they've changed it since I've traded with them in the past year, I believe it's still only 2 contracts that you can trade on the Express. You can't scale up to 3. I think eventually you can, but pretty sure the Express is only 2. Yeah, when I was trading with them, it's like a scale up method or plan. I don't exactly remember how they did it. I've been trading with Apex now for a little while, so there was an instance with Top Step as well that really rubbed me the wrong way. Like the data was off and I caught it and there was a discrepancy and I had like screenshots and all this stuff and I was trying to tell support like no, like two micro contracts at 400 ticks, like this should be $400 in profit, but it only gave me like $100 profit. And I was like, why did I get filled at this price when it still showed me in the trade? It was like a whole fiasco, and like it went on for like 2 weeks, and this was on one of my Express accounts. And you know, they just wouldn't adhere to it, and it was so frustrating. I basically, you know, I basically got filled at a way lower price, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That was kind of that was kind of one foot out the door already with Top Step. Not to say they're bad, right? They're not bad at all. But at the time, I was already tilted with my trading. I wasn't performing well with my trading, and then that happened where I didn't receive full profits on one of my trades, and they wouldn't help me on it. So I was kind of in full mental boom mode. Yeah, Alex, once you understand that this is only one trade in one day, that's where magic starts happening, right? Where you start trading for the week and trading for the month. Yeah, Sling. It looks like they might have changed the rules up a little bit to be competitive with other firms. But I was just saying, when I was trading with them a year and a half ago. So people posting on Twitter about not receiving payouts on prop firms, they're not following the rules. They're not following the rules. If they're trading with like Apex and Top Step and stuff, they're violating rules and then they're just clout chasing on social media. These are guys that are risking $1,000 per trade, breaking the consistency rule, not getting enough trading days, not trading properly, and they're just gambling. And if you read in the rules, this is what they don't want. They don't want you gambling. They don't want you risking $1,000, $2,000 a trade and just getting lucky, right? That's not what they want to see. And then, they deny the payout for not following the rules, and then people are posting on social media. Now, I do condone the people that post their denied payouts and then they admit, okay, I did break this rule, or it was an honest mistake where they didn't understand, right? But that's kind of my thought process and why some of these firms are getting a bad rep. Now, I'm going to be documenting my process too, like throughout the pay period and stuff. I'm going to record it and all that good stuff. But obviously I'm not an affiliate with them. I don't have like a discount code or anything, but I'm just a regular trader on their platform at this point. And I followed all the rules. I have like over 50 days trading, you know. So the payout should be perfectly fine. The only one I would be worried about is my first three PA accounts that I traded. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. I can't remember if I violated any rules on that because, like I said, I was still trading a little bit of my old habits, right? I was over risking a little bit and stuff. So on those accounts, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure on those three accounts that I first started. But the other accounts should be pretty solid. Unless there's some hidden rule like I don't know about, but I'll just adjust, right? Like Apex, they don't take away your accounts. They just say, "Hey, fix this." Or "Hey, we want you to trade 5 more trading days." So a lot of accumulation here. A lot of accumulation. You're out here? Yeah, I was thinking about taking profit here. I'm scaled in 3 contracts. Scaled in 3 contracts. I think we will see one more little boom move up here. Could be at the start of this 11 a.m. candle in about 5 minutes. But I could technically put my stop here at the fair value gap still. Yeah, this was a pretty good scale in trade, though. Got a lot of opportunity here, which was nice. I wasn't really intending on scaling in 3 contracts, but when I saw kind of this price action here, respecting this fair value gap, it kind of gave a good confirmation, right? And a good place to put my break even. Yeah, so at this point, if we're breaking the high of this previous candle, I would not want to see this low get taken, right? That would mean that this was manipulation from the accumulation, right? And then that we're reversing for an extended period of time, right? So I'll trail my stop here to this low. Like I said, this was basically a breakout candle. Now, on this breakout candle from this accumulation, would not want to see this low get taken. That would mean that we're going to start trading a little bit lower, right? Maybe into some of these lows, possibly into here, right? Yeah, I believe Ryan's at work right now. I believe Ryan is at work. I think he watches the stream on his phone. So, yeah, pretty solid here. We're taking out that 15-minute high. If that did happen, would I think about reversing position? Nah, I'm done for the day, man. I am done for the day. Now, the only bearish price action I see is maybe into an equilibrium of this zone. But right now we're just completely distributing bullish. You know what I mean? So I'm not big on taking a sell right after I've taken a buy. You know what I mean? I don't like to just change my bias like that on a whim. Messes with my mental a little bit. Rich, he does that and he's able to have success with that. Me, not so much. Me, not so much. I rack my brain. If I took this buy, right, and it was a loss, and then I took a sell, and that was a loss, I'm gonna be racking my brain for sure. If I determine a bias, I'm kind of sticking to that, right? Like even yesterday, I was looking for those sells, and they didn't play out, right? Yeah, yeah. The reverse button. That's what it does. Yeah, yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know why that's a thing, but I've never used that component. Right. It's for a gambler. Literally. That's why they put it there, so you can lose money, get chopped up on both sides. Yeah, I've never seen anybody. I've never see anybody do that. The fills were horrendous, even on a sim account. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. So one thing, I have a couple people that I know that trade actual minis on NQ, and they trade during the London session. And his fills are sometimes so bad because if he's trading with a lot of micros or a lot of minis, you know, there's not a lot of volume in the market, right? There's not a lot of liquidity. So his fill is sometimes pretty bad. So it's almost like he has to set limit orders so he gets good fills. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Yeah, it does make sense. I mean, we have the luxury of just trading on these funded accounts, right? Where it's all just like demo money. But like in live market conditions, you know, on a personal account, you got to worry about like actual more slippage and actual liquidity to get filled in positions. Yeah, limit order. So like, you know, if I had a sell limit right here, it would instantly fill me right when because it's pending, right? It's a pending order. It's basically you have an appointment. You have the appointment with the market to sell at this price point, right? Whereas like if you're trying to be a walk-in and sell at this price point, you're going to have to wait until all these appointment orders got filled first, right? The liquidity has to be there. Yeah, that's why sometimes, you know, limit orders can be better, right? Because you're going to get filled. You're going to get a better fill. But that's problems you face when you're trading a personal account, right? We don't have those problems right now. Definitely don't have those problems. So we have this little consolidation candle here. Now I don't want to see this candle reverse, right? If anything, this 15-minute candle maybe trade back into the high here and trade higher. Or just completely run for this. Still looks pretty good to go higher, I would say. Or just keep trailing our stop here below the lows. Manipulation lows and accumulation lows. So it's like $100 profit. It's like not bad right here if we came back and we hit our trailing stop, right? Tough transitioning. Frank, I would say it was more of like an ego thing, right? It was more of an ego thing and like paying attention to like social media, people trading minis. You just want to be on the same page as them, but you got to understand there's levels to this game for sure. And, you know, I'm far from being able to trade a mini with my current trading style, right? My stops are too big. I mean, I'm scaling in 3 contracts here and I'm not even close to being able to use a mini. I would have to be trading with a Basically got like $1 million in drawdown capital to be able to do that with my current trading style. But if you have tighter stop losses and you find yourself trading up to 10 micros, or yeah, 10 micros, I would say, you know, it's time to maybe switch over to 1 mini, right? Obviously, because that's the math, 10 micros, 1 mini, but so printing our first red candle, kinda. Still got 8 minutes on this candle, but I think we might be trading higher. We just took out the low of that candle. Now, if we flip and take the high, I'm going to move my stop up to here. You think a big drop's coming? Yeah, I do see the manipulation, right? Accumulation manipulation. You think 11 a.m. reversal? Futures, it's just the positioning, Alex. It's just the positioning. If you have like a Tradeovate account, like I have here on TradingView, you can place all your orders on Tradeovate, and it's just you know, it's the same thing as using lots with the CFDs and on MT4. It's the same thing. I used to trade the same way you are, like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, that's kind of my thought process as well. Sling is you know, you can scale out or even scale in a little more. Say like if you're trading 1 mini, you know, I wouldn't feel inclined to scale in 2 minis, right? When I would want to scale in smaller positions, right? I would want to trade, you know, if I started with 10 micro contracts, maybe I want to scale into to maybe like 12, you know, or 14 or 16, you know, not a full. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and close this trade here.
Order filled.
So I was actually thinking about taking profit right up here when I saw we traded higher right at the open of 11 a.m. but secured a little bit of profit there, not crazy. I was hoping we could reach for this high kind of fast, but it's all good. It's all good. This looks pretty good though. You know, we scaled in, or we got our first position here, scaled in, was able to take profit up here. So essentially our first position was way down here. Right. Basically scaled in to this. That's what our trade looked like. Not bad though. Not bad.